NBA. It'll be the Toronto Raptors facing off against the Dallas Mavericks.
And there the Mavericks earlier getting set to play. Raptors are on to Toronto and into an interconference game. We welcome you this Thursday evening. Hoping you're having a good one and are as excited as we are for this one. Clark Kellogg and Steve Kerr joining me in the booth. Good evening, everyone. This is Kevin Hart. You look at Dallas, and with the worst record in the NBA, they simply don't have the talent to win that many ball games.
I think for the Mavericks, they've been totally out of sync at the beginning of this season. They still haven't found their identity. They don't know who they are and what they do best.
I have no idea what they are either, Clark. I mean, this is a team that really is just kind of hard to figure out. And I think they may have to make some changes to try to get themselves going.
A look at the opening lineup for the Toronto Raptors presented by State Farm. Damian Lillard out there with Bradley Beal. Then it's Brook Lopez. Then there's Martin. And it's Green in at the power forward position. And for the Mavericks, they've got Harrison Barnes, Tyler Zeller out there with Tayshaun Prince. Then there's Avery Bradley. And it's Rubio in at the 1.
You know, guys, one of the reasons Dallas did not re-sign Tyson Chandler last year was they wanted to preserve some cap space. And they had Dwight Howard in mind, but Dallas has had to use their cap space elsewhere. But, you know, the key was just developing enough flexibility to give them a lot of different options. And I think that's always a factor for any NBA team.
Now, here's Green. Harrison Barnes missing his last shot. Lopez, a screen on Rubio. Martin from outside. That's good. Martin's got his first 3 points of the game.
That's going to be important for this team to fight over the top of screens defensively.
Yeah, you got to tag him and stay right close to him because with his touch, he doesn't need much space to get his shot off.
Now, here's Rubio, averaging 6 points per contest. He kicks to Barnes. 5 to shoot. The wing jumper off target. Dallas, to me, Steve, always seems a team very mindful of upcoming free agents and cap space restrictions. One of the reasons why they made the moves last year. Even if, Clark, they don't get a big name, they always seem to be in the mix somewhere.
Well, they're always hovering around, and I think it points to the savvy of the front office there, Kevin. I mean, and that's really what allows teams to be competitive over long periods of time. It's not just about the players you have and their talent, but it's how you acquire players and piece together your team.
They're very forward-thinking, aren't they?
Yeah.
That's grace over power, guys. That finger roll gets him 2 points. Impressive stuff.
Rubio with it. Lillard picks him up. And Rubio kicks to Barnes. Prince. Beal pulls it in. Here in the first, just under 2.5 minutes played so far. And I think Doris Burke has something for us right now. Doris?
Kevin, I had a chance to talk to head coach Rick Carlisle. One player we discussed in detail is the young Bradley Beal. He said, I was a fan of his game from watching him at Florida. His combination of outside shooting and slashing make him a very tough cover. We're going to put pressure on him and try to take the ball out of his hands. And Kevin, Beal's such an intriguing talent. We'll see if he's able to put up some big numbers.
Thanks a lot, Doris. And Zeller kicks to Rubio. That's good.
If he gets a glimpse of an opening, he's going to take it right to the rim.
It's been 4 years now and counting for the Raptors since they made the playoffs. Overall, the franchise found their way into the playoffs early, but it's been hard getting back there recently.
The pass to Beal from downtown, and again Toronto with the triple.
Pretty impressive. 5 straight makes to start this game.
Rubio with it. Lillard picks him up. Outside Prince. Pass to Barnes. Shoots. That's good on the jump shot. Barnes has got his first 2 points. And with so many stars coming and going by, Tracy McGrady, it seems each time, Steve, that Toronto gets a team that can make the playoffs, they lose their centerpiece.
Yeah, that's going to be important in the future. Can they hang on to their players? It's one of the reasons I think they've gone with a more European feel to their club. It's an international city, Toronto is. And I think the franchise feels like if they draft European players, they're more likely to be able to hang on to them than they would be the American stars.
Looking at Dallas, they want to turn it around after the loss to the Jazz in Utah.
Pretty lazy effort defensively that night from them, guys. You know, I know that it sounds harsh, but hey, I speak the truth.
Yes, you do. Where were the adjustments is my question. I mean, the coaching staff didn't seem to realize, as everyone else watching did, that changes had to be made defensively. They never moved on anything.
Looking at who's out there now for the Mavericks. Marvin Williams is checked in for Zeller. Anderson comes in for Tayshaun Prince. Al-Farouq Aminu, he's checked in for Barnes. And Tony Douglas is subbed in for Ricky Rubio. Now, here's Aminu. Goes up the baseline. And it's Anderson that time on the assist by Bradley.
And the foundation of his game is really his great shooting and rebounding ability. He's a guy who has a soft touch for a big man. Really fun to watch.
Yeah, for a guy who spends a lot of time out beyond the arc, he does a surprisingly good job in the offensive glass. Another reason he's able to score at a high level. Beal with the steal. He dishes it to Mills. Shoots over Bradley. Shot's good by Mills.
That offense just keeps on clicking.
It sure does, Clark. They're getting high percentage looks and really taking advantage here.
The shot by Williams, no good. Raptors leading by 9. Here's Mills, averaging 9 points per contest. Sullinger with a screen for Beal. With the lead pass. Sullinger with the bucket.
Well, I'll tell you what, they are dialed in offensively, guys. I think they look really well prepared for this game.
And they've rode that early hot streak to a big lead here in the first.
And Dallas calls their first time out of the game. This, their first look at this year's Toronto squad.
And this wasn't their most challenging opponent if you're talking about last year. They won both of these meetings.
And it's a completely new group on the floor for the Mavericks. A new group in now for the Raptors. Robin Lopez is checked in for Maxiell. Martin comes in for Sullinger. Jody Meeks, he's checked in for Beal. And Lillard subbed in for Patrick Mills. Now, here's Rubio. Dishes it to Garcia. Over Martin. They get the rebound. Prince kicks to Roten. Back to Prince. Over Mbah Moute. And that's Prince. That time on the assist from Roten. And as Steve just pointed out, they did what you would have expected them in those 2 games. They took it to an opponent that had a very tough season.
And guys, sometimes it's really hard to predict what's going to happen in an East versus West matchup, no matter where the teams stand in their respective conferences. But this series went pretty much according to form.
Here's Rubio, and that one's good.
Boy, nice pick there, guys. I mean, gave him the space he needed for the hoop.
There's 39 seconds left to play here in the first. Here's Lillard. Shot is no good, so the Mavericks will take it the other way. Now Roten passes it to Zeller. The dish to Prince.
They really depend on him to convert those chances. A lot of times, even with solid D draped on him, they expect him to make it.
Here's Lillard. Oh, the one-hand jam.
Huge advantage for them already.
And as well as they've played at both ends so far, this lead might continue to grow.
Roten the pass to Rubio. And stolen by Lillard. Here is Mbah Moute. So as we end the first quarter, already a double-digit ball game. Raptors lead by 11. Let's take a quick break now, and then it's on to the second quarter after this.
Next Wednesday, the Utah Jazz hit the road to do battle with the Detroit Pistons. Be there.
Welcome back, everyone. A lopsided first quarter in the books already as we start the second quarter. And for the Raptors, this has been the game they wanted to have.
Yeah, they have been fantastic offensively, really coming out strong, and they've lit it up.
Yeah, they have. I mean, very much in control and shooting the ball extremely well.
So the Raptors 5 right now. Jason Maxiell is out there with Jared Sullinger. Then there's Green, then it's Mills, and it's Beal in at the shooting guard position.
And you have to give the ownership a lot of credit for the Mavs' success over the years, guys. A lot of people may not agree with things he has to say, but you can't argue with the success that he's had. He's spent his money, his resources. He's put a ton of passion and energy into building that franchise, and it's developed into one of the best in the entire league.
Beal gets a screen from Sullinger. And so he draws the foul on the shot, a trip to the line to shoot two. You talk about passionate ownership on the sideline, actively involved in crafting the roster and the fan experience. You don't get much better than Dallas. From the top all the way down, it's all about winning and not afraid to push for what's best for the NBA.
And I think he wants the best for his players, too, and that's why, as a player, you've got to love, admire, and respect that. You know that he wants to win just as much as you do, and it's easy to go the extra mile and commit to a team where that's the case coming from ownership.
Here's Williams. Here's Zeller. Beal pulls it in.
They continue to pull down misses, and that's how they're maintaining this lead.
Yeah, well, one and done is the recipe for continuing to hold on to a lead. You don't want to let the other team back in it by giving them extra possession.
Martin with the bucket.
And Rick Carlisle, head coach of the Mavericks, actually coached previously in Detroit and Indiana. And, you know, he won the Coach of the Year in his very first season as a head coach, 2002 with Detroit.
Stolen by Martin. And here is Beal. That is good. Beal's got 4 this quarter.
They're really playing well at both ends, offensively and defensively, guys.
Yeah, it's been a complete performance, Steve. You look back on this game, it's one that you would hope to be able to build on.
And let's quickly check in on the season's top rookie rebounders so far. In the third spot, Tyler Zeller. Jared Sullinger 4th.
These two guys are animals in the paint. That's the only way to describe them. They devote so much energy to their rebounding.
Steve, they just know how to play in there, and that's something you don't necessarily teach. And it's not just their energy, but a combination of energy, ability, and understanding how to play.
Catching up on the changes for Dallas. Tayshaun Prince is checked in for Zeller. Garcia comes in for Barnes. Roten's checked in for Elliott Williams. And Ricky Rubio subbed in for Tony Douglas. And going back to Rick Carlisle's time in Detroit, he'd gotten them as far as the conference finals in his second season, but was shown the door just prior to their championship year in 2004.
Yeah, the Pistons won the title the next year, so a move that obviously was justified, but a strange move nonetheless. Rick Carlisle had plenty of success, but that's the NBA. Coaches get blamed for everything, and to Carlisle's credit, he just moved on, kept working, and has had tremendous success ever since. And when you play against him, guys, you know that it's going to be very tough to deny him if he gets in close. So you've got to body him. You can't let him get positioned down by the hoop. Otherwise, he'll just torture you down there.
And you know what else? I love how comfortable he is rising up and knocking down jumpers straight off his dribble. He doesn't need a fancy setup to be effective.
Garcia can't get it to go.
And that rebound pushes their margin to +5 on the boards. Solid job on the glass.
Well, it's just part of what they've done here to build this big lead. It shouldn't be overlooked. I mean, rebounding is a huge part of this game.
Clock at 6. Meeks covered by Rubio. Meeks can't hit.
He's one guy the defense is not afraid to leave open from that range, and for obvious reasons.
Lopez dishes to Lillard. 3 minutes of action so far in the second quarter. Mavericks with the rebound. They've got the Timberwolves ahead of them next in Minneapolis. That'll be just one game played away from home for them. Garcia. Dallas again missing. Here's Toronto now. They've got a 12-2 run in progress. Wasted no time on that one. 13 points for Martin.
Even when they're D'ing him up, I mean, he's a very good shooter from out there.
Well, what you love about Kevin Martin is just the efficiency offensively. He makes a lot of three-pointers, and he gets to the line at will. He's quick, and he develops angles on his drives where he draws a lot of contact, forcing the officials to call fouls.
The Mavericks have gone 2 for 3 at the foul line in this game. And going back to what you said about Kevin Martin, Steve, 2 seasons ago, he was 3rd in the league in three-pointers made. And Clark, he was 1st in the league in free throws made. What in the world's happened to this guy?
Yeah, that's the most unusual combination you'll see statistically, I think, Kevin. You don't get fouled much when you're shooting from the outside, but he has a tremendous knack when he's healthy and at his best for getting into the paint and drawing fouls, too.
Mavericks making a switch here. Bradley's checked in, and the Raptors also making a change. Sullinger's checked in, and it's out of bounds to the Mavericks as Dallas retains possession. Raptors on defense. They have a 22-point lead. It's the most they've led by. And Rubio kicks to Aminu. Barnes. Dallas moving the ball around. Goes up on the wing.
And right now, they find themselves down on the scoreboard and struggling to make their shots. They need to work on getting into the lane, drive the ball to the basket, get some easier looks that lead to high percentage shots, and maybe they can get back on track.
5 on the clock. Here's Lillard. Here's Maxiell. Tayshaun Prince with the rebound. Prince has got 3 rebounds so far in the game. And Rubio kicks to Barnes. That's in, coming off an assist from Rubio.
Nice soft touch to drop that one in.
And there's the feed to Meeks. Feeds it to Lillard. Into Maxiell.
A chance here to take a look at where the Mavericks rank in the NBA currently. 8th in assists, 10th in lowest turnovers per game. And they're in the top half of the league in free throw shooting as well. Pretty good, but they could certainly stand some improvement there.
And the top 10 in assist number that you talked about, it really is what stands out to me. It's a beautiful team to watch. They like to share the ball. They really work hard at the offensive end to make sure they get the best possible shot every time down the floor.
Catching up on the changes for Dallas. Zeller, who's checked in for Prince. Anderson comes in for Al-Farouq Aminu. And Tony Douglas is subbed in for Ricky Rubio. Now here's Douglas, covered by Mills. The 8-footer. Toronto grabs the miss. Beal's got his 3rd rebound tonight. Want to keep rolling here following the win against Memphis.
And in that game, Kevin, they found a lot of ways to exploit that defense and then just took it to them.
Yeah, it was simple. Real simple. Nothing fancy there. Everything plain and well executed, Steve.
4 on the shot clock. Here's Mills. Can't get it to go. And the Mavericks going the other way now. Bradley with the ball. Now Beal defending. Barnes passes to Douglas. That's good.
And defensively, you want to keep the ball as far away from the hoop as possible.
Yeah, because he's too good inside, Steve. I mean, he'll make you pay every time in there.
Mills dishes to Beal. Lopez, a screen on Bradley. Here's Beal. He goes up. Barnes grabs the miss.
That's not an opportunity he fails to convert very often.
It's hauled in by the Raptors. 22 is their biggest lead. And Beal kicks to Lopez. Sinks that one from the post. Lopez has got his second bucket of the game to go.
Excellent execution of the plan there.
Here's Barnes. And a foul called on the shot. Got him on the way up that time, so he'll shoot 2 right here.
Harrison Barnes at 6'8", 220 pounds, comes in with good size at the small forward position. And I thought it was disappointing that he didn't turn into more of a playmaker at North Carolina, more of a multi-dimensional offensive weapon, but he really became more of a jump shooter and a scorer as a Tar Heel.
Catching up on the changes for Dallas. Tayshaun Prince is checked in for Anderson. Elliott Williams comes in for Avery Bradley. And Ricky Rubio is subbed in for Tony Douglas.
Wow, he is just burying shot after shot from long range.
And he'll keep calling and begging for the ball, I'm sure.
Here's Williams. That's good. It's Rubio with the assist.
And defensively, remember, you got to fight through screens to avoid giving up open looks.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Steve. And the defense has to go over the top of that screen. I think that's how they get it done.
Mills with it. Outside, Martin. Parked down low that time, and he got the 3-second call. Throws it from deep. Can't hit. And through one half, it hasn't even been close. It's the Raptors running away with it. We'll see you after halftime for the beginning of the third quarter.
Now, presented by Sprint.
I hope you're enjoying your Thursday night in the NBA. Let's dive right into things. Toronto leading against the Mavericks at American Airlines Center. With their winning streak, this team is playing with a whole lot of confidence right now. A jaw-dropping performance from Kevin Martin. The bucket looks about 5 feet wide for him. He hasn't missed one shot. Can you believe it? And for the Mavericks, it's a grinded-out effort. Outstanding bench production. They've gotten a very nice lift, and that's made a huge difference for them on the scoreboard. Their top scorer, Harrison Barnes. After 2, he's got 6 points, and he's been able to provide some nice assists as well. And that'll be our report. Thanks so much for joining us. We hope to see you next time.
And we return here in Big D, Dallas, Texas. Welcome back, everyone. Really an incredible game from Kevin Martin.
Yeah, the points have really come in bunches for him so far, and it's not really a surprise because you know exactly what he can do.
Well, he's been in the groove all game long, Steve, and not too many hiccups in regards to his shooting, but we also have come to expect this from him, so we're not surprised by it.
Mavericks trailed by 20. Harrison Barnes is out there with Tayshaun Prince. Then there's Avery Bradley. That's Tyler Zeller. And it's Rubio in at the point. So that's who Rick Carlisle starts the second half with. Bradley up top. Charity stripe shot. And Rubio kicks to Bradley. That's in, coming off an assist from Rubio. Rubio's got 3 assists now in this one. Here's Beal. Prince with the defensive effort. Mavericks shooting under 40% all in all for the game. Here's Bradley. Lopez with the block. Here's Barnes. Good on the triple. Barnes has got 9 points.
He's going to take that shot every time if he has that much room to get it off.
Out of bounds, Dallas takes possession. And a good time now to show you the centers and power forwards from around the NBA that have had the softest touch here in the second half of the season. The 4th spot held by Tyler Zeller.
You know, it's one thing to be able to create high-quality shots for yourself, but you still have to finish. And there's no doubt all those guys can do both.
Yeah, every sentence needs a period. It's one thing to get the shot off, but you need to finish. You need to take care of business in there. Most of their chances are easy ones.
Here's Rubio. The feed now to Barnes. That's in, coming off an assist from Rubio. Rubio's got 4 assists now tonight. Raptors leading by 13. Lillard, the pass to Martin. The shot from the low post is good. Martin's got 18 points.
My goodness, he's knocking down everything he looks at.
And the Mavericks call time here.
Damian Lillard, one of the top point guards in this year's draft. He's really more of a scorer than a classic pure point. In fact, he led the nation in scoring a season ago. But very dangerous, great penetrator, and he can knock down the outside shot.
Some changes for Toronto. Jason Maxiell's checked in for Lopez. And Mbah Moute comes in for Kevin Martin. Third quarter here, over a minute and a half into it. Goes up on the high post. Rubio misses.
And you know what, guys? For Lillard at Weber State, he was asked to be the primary scorer out of necessity. I mean, sometimes guys in that position can reveal themselves to be much more prolific passers at the pro level than they were able to in college just because of the need for them to score.
Bradley dishes to Zeller. Count that one.
Yeah, we're now starting to see them get some high percentage shots in the paint.
Yeah, that's 5 of their last 6 buckets inside the lane, so they're getting really high percentage looks down there.
And for a point guard, you love LUV. That finish. Wow.
Yeah, he's really been able to get off his feet and sky. Something to watch.
Incredible athleticism, both laterally and vertically. They continue to barrel their way inside, and when's the defense going to adjust?
Well, I'm asking the same question myself, partner. I mean, that's 8 points out of their last 10 coming inside.
He feeds it to Bradley. Some nice passing here by Dallas. Barnes kicks to Prince. Down to 5 on the shot clock. Lets it go from the wing. No good. And Toronto will come the other way. 22 is their biggest lead. Here's Lillard, and that is good. Lillard's got 4 points now in the quarter.
Well, I like that he's come up with some big baskets for this team to help him out in getting this lead.
Kicks it to Barnes. He kicks it to Zeller. And it's Toronto with the rebound. Lillard the pass to Beal. And the Raptors hit again from deep.
And there's a lot to like about his game, but his ability as a spot-up shooter is what I like the most.
You know, you got to admire somebody who works as hard as he does at that part of his game, being a spot-up shooter. He never stops moving out there. He's always looking to wear his defender out with constant motion, and when he catches it, he's dead. Well, a nice little trend developing here, fellas. I mean, that's 8 of their last 10 from inside the paint.
Yeah, they're getting high percentage looks down there. Their offense is really clicking. I don't see why they wouldn't just continue to pound the ball inside.
So, timeout called here, the first for Toronto.
Yeah, he definitely saw some things that were not working for them out there, and now he's going to make some adjustments.
I'm not sure what it was, but he clearly wanted something to change out there.
Looking at who's out there now for the Mavericks. Ryan Anderson, he's checked in for Zeller. Aminu comes in for Barnes. And Tony Douglas is subbed in for Ricky Rubio. A new group in now for the Raptors. Robin Lopez is checked in for Maxiell. Sullinger comes in for Jeff Green. Jody Meeks, he's checked in for Beal. And it's Mills in for Lillard. Here's Mills. 6 points for him. Moute, a screen on Anderson. Meeks dishes to Mills. Inside, Lopez. The Raptors need to get a shot off. And he was fouled on the way up. 2 free throws now for him.
Well, checking out some numbers here for Tony Douglas. His last 10 games, 8th in three-point field goal percentage. And, of course, passing, such a big part of his game, one of the top 15 leading assist men in the NBA.
And, Steve, I really think he deserves an awful lot of credit for making it into the top 10 in three-point shooting. I mean, that's pretty high-quality marksmanship when you're a top 10. Three-point shooter.
Looking at who's out there now for the Mavericks. Zeller is checked in for Prince. Barnes comes in for Ryan Anderson. Francisco Garcia, he's checked in for Avery Brown. And Ricky Rubio is subbed in for Tony Douglas. The Mavericks have made 6 of their 7 attempts at the line in this one.
And guys, that's really an upgrade over how they shot last season. Not a huge upgrade, but an upgrade nonetheless.
And the Mavericks making a change here. Prince is checked in, and Toronto also making a switch. Brook Lopez is checked in for Robin Lopez.
You know, the dunk was great, but I didn't care for that interior defense there, guys. It was non-existent.
You're right, Clark. You know, it was way too easy. I don't think the coach liked it either. Look at that face.
It doesn't get much easier than that. They have got to tighten up their defense. That was embarrassing.
Raptors leading by 18. And Meeks kicks to Sullinger. And an emphatic dunk.
Man, offensive execution has been the story here. Just playing beautiful basketball.
And guys, you can see it in their advantage in field goal percentage. I mean, you get high quality shots, you're usually going to shoot well. They're playing outstanding basketball.
Rubio and the pass to Garcia. That's in, coming off an assist from Rubio. Rubio's got 6 assists here tonight. Here's Mills, covered by Rubio. And Mills kicks to Meeks. He passes to Mills. He dishes it to Meeks. There's the 3. And again, Toronto with the triple.
Way too much time and space on that 3. He'll make that one all the time.
Well, it's a warm-up jumper, Steve, the kind that you could knock down still to this day. And you're one of the best all-time three-pointers we've had in the NBA. But you got to at least run at a guy and try to challenge and distract his shot. I'm not sure if any play is going to top that one.
Maybe the only play that could beat it is another alley-oop jam.
Yep.
Even then, it'd be hard to execute it any better than that one.
Mills passes to Mbah Moute. And the basket good. Mbah Moute's got his first basket of the night. Mavericks trailed by 21. 3-second difference between shot clock and game clock.
Another board for them, and they've got a huge advantage in that regard.
Yeah, it's not really a surprise. I mean, rebounding one of the true barometers in winning basketball games, and if you rebound better, you typically are going to win ball games and do it comfortably.
Dishes it to Mills. Takes a 3. And again, Toronto with the triple. And at the end of the third quarter, a huge lead in this one may already have been decided. The Raptors out in front, just dominating this one. And we'll get going after this from the American Airlines Center.
Next Sunday, the Minnesota Timberwolves go up against Dwayne Wade and the Miami Heat. Make sure to catch it.
Welcome back as we get ready to start the fourth quarter. Who's had the Sprite uncontainable game in this one? Well, let's send it out to our Dorisburg. Doris?
And Kevin, for that great stretch the Raptors put together, they get the Uncontainable Game Award. The baskets seemed to double in width for them at the start of the second quarter, and they made the most of it. You have to think they'll close things out here as we head to the final quarter.
Doris, thank you. That was quite a run they had. Quite exemplary of what we think of when we think about that turning point. Definitely a Sprite uncontainable game moment.
Yeah, you won't get any argument from me, Kevin. It was as big a factor in this game as anything. You know, when a team builds up that much momentum, it just becomes so hard to turn the tide back around.
Yeah, Steve, they just kept the throttle down. They sensed an area of weakness and then just continued to exploit it, never letting up.
All right, now a chance to set the floor, courtesy of Gatorade. Fourth quarter action, all fueled up and ready to go. So the Raptors 5 right now. They've got Green, Damian Lillard out there with Bradley Beal. Then there's Martin, and it's Maxiell in at the center position.
We see more and more point guards with that kind of impressive dunking ability, don't we?
We're seeing more and more of that kind of explosiveness. In fact, the point guard now has never been as prominent and as important, I think, in the game than it is right now.
I agree. Some of that is the rule changes, guys. No hand checks. The floor is more spread. But, yeah, this new breed of athletic point guard is so exciting. Yeah, very opportunistic defense there, leading to those points.
That's exactly what they'll do to you, Steve. They will pounce on your mistakes.
Douglas kicks to Anderson. A 3-ball. Offensive rebound. Passes it to Douglas. Jacks up a 3. Lillard with the rebound.
And they're struggling a little bit on the glass. They've got to pick up their physical play in the paint.
Yeah, it's about being tougher and more physical, just as you said, Steve. If they can do that better, they've got a chance to come back.
Damian Lillard grew up in Oakland, California. A pretty good history for point guards out of that town. You think of Gary Payton, Jason Kidd, of course. You know, if Lillard could end up having a career of that caliber, he'd be doing awfully well for himself.
Catching up on the changes for Toronto. Robin Lopez is checked in for Green. Jody Meeks comes in for Kevin Martin. And it's Mills in for Lillard. Here's Roten. Gets it to go.
Well, they're trailing here, but you got to admire how hard they're playing. I mean, that kind of effort is a winning effort. They're working the ball inside and trying to do what they can to get back in it.
Sullinger's checked in for Toronto. And for Lillard, he said that growing up in Oakland is one of the biggest challenges that he's had to overcome, just avoiding the pitfalls and the dangers of the town.
Yeah, a kid who kept his head down, though, Kevin, and focused on what he needed to do to have a chance to reach his goals and dreams. And I like what I see from him. He's a nice combo guard. He can go at you off the dribble. He can shoot it from deep. He can make the right play off the pass. A humble, hungry, talented young guy. I'm sure he'll play with a bit of an edge since he's a little under the radar screen coming in.
Now here's Roten. Defense is right there. Here's Garcia. And the Mavericks get another bucket right there.
Well, they found the touch here in the second half in the field. And everything. Everything else we talk about, folks, rebounding, defense, all of that. This game is still about making shots. You got to put the ball in the basket. That's the bottom line. And they found a way to do it here in the second half.
And the Raptors making a change here. Mbah Moute's checked in. On defense, the Raptors. Now here's Roten.
Well, no question, playing in front of these big crowds brings a lot of pressure as well as excitement. A recent study found that for home players in clutch situations, they tended to excel in effort tasks like offensive rebounding, but struggled in the focus tasks like shooting free throws. Very interesting.
Mills with it. Al-Farouq Amino covering. An easy layup after coming off the pick.
Great pick, and that gave him enough space to get to the hoop and finish.
Good. Well, going back to that study, I guess players on the away team didn't have that same struggle shooting free throws in the clutch. Did you notice that too, Steve?
Yeah, I think it's easier to shoot free throws on the road because the crowd is against you. Whereas at home, you know, if you miss, you hear the crowd gasp and they're so disappointed, and you feel that disappointment. So as a result, you feel more pressure. It's kind of an ironic twist, but I think it's definitely the case.
Tony Douglas is checked in for Roten. A new group in now for the Raptors. Brook Lopez is checked in for Lopez. Green comes in for Jason Maxiell. Lillard's checked in for Meeks. And Beal subbed in for Patrick Mills. The Mavericks have gone 5 for 9 from the field in the final quarter so far. Here's Williams. No good with the triple.
They have a nice lead here and have really controlled the glass for the majority of the game. Kudos to them for their strong effort on the backboard.
Yeah, and they're sending a message too, Clark. They're really coming out and playing a very physical game here.
Shoots from the baseline. And it's Toronto with the rebound. Beal's got 5 rebounds tonight. Pass to Lillard. Over Aminu. And the basket by Lillard. Lillard's got 19 points.
Great display of that mid-range touch right now.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with taking a step in and knocking down a few. I know you were a great marksman from the three-point line, but sometimes people only see the game in threes and layups. That mid-range game is alive and well here tonight.
There's the dish to Williams. There's the feed to Aminu. Releases from 15. The Raptors have gotten into a pretty good groove, going 6 of 10 here in the final quarter. Here's Lillard. And that one's good. Lillard's got 8 points in the quarter.
You know, when he plays well, generally the team does too, and it's exactly what we're seeing here today.
Williams dishes to Douglas. Back to Williams for 3. That's good with a Douglas assist. Douglas has got 3 assists in the game.
Well, that's a quality look there. The defense a bit laced.
And 2 straight now from long range, putting up points in a hurry, Clark.
The Mavericks have gone through the fourth quarter shooting 50%, 7 of 14. Williams. It's hauled in by the Raptors. Mbah Moute has got 3 rebounds now in this one. Toronto calls timeout. They're in front by 25. A minute 50 left to play here in the fourth. Henson, who's checked in for the Mavericks. A new group in now for the Raptors. Sullinger's checked in for Lopez. Lopez comes in for Jeff Green. Jason Maxiell's checked in for Mbah Moute. And it's Martin in for Beal. Here's Lillard. And so he earns a trip to the line. Officials saw the contact and he'll shoot 2.
Lillard has been playing really well. He's got 21 points, and his huge assist tally makes it all the more impressive.
Well, and he's got this team in such a good groove right now. The way he's moving the ball and passing, getting everybody involved, they're in a great flow.
Feeds it to Anderson. He feeds it to Douglas. 3-pointer. Blocked. Williams has a screen for Douglas. The kick out to Williams. The 3. Shot is off. And Toronto will come the other way. Martin with it. Williams picks him up. 1:10 left in the fourth. 6 to shoot. Back to Martin. Shoots the 3. Gets it to go. Martin's got 21.
And this one's pretty much wrapped up.
And they know it. I mean, took care of business. Chalk it up as a W, Steve.
Douglas the pass to Anderson. And that time, also a missed shot. The Raptors shooting 71% all in all in this one. They've been brilliant offensively. And Lillard kicks to Maxiell. Kicks it to Lillard. So he gets the whistle. Contact on the way up and 2 shots coming up.
Well, at least the defender got his money's worth on that one.
Yep, that was an easy whistle for the official.
Full free throw is good from Lillard. There's 37 seconds left here in the fourth quarter. Martin against Douglas. Here's Williams. That's good with a Douglas assist.
Well, he did a nice job of getting himself into just enough of an open area to find that spot for his shot.
At the line for the Raptors, Damian.
First one falls for him. That one is no good. The Mavericks shooting 40% in the fourth. And Garcia kicks to Anderson. Wide open look. Rebound by the Raptors. Now Lillard. And the shot is good.
Doesn't look like they're going to take it easy on them down the stretch.
It certainly doesn't look like it. I mean, they're still aggressively attacking the basket and putting up points.
And so Toronto takes this one, but by a big margin. Not much to be critical of with this win, Clark.
Not at all. I mean, they showed up not just to play. They showed up to give great effort and to win, and they did both.
Well, it's time to say so long. For Clark Kellogg, Steve Kerr, and Doris Burke, this is Kevin Harlan along with our 2K Sports crew, thanking you for tuning in. Now it's time to present our Jordan Player of the Game, Damian Lillard.